with us now is Bob Schieffer, or as we call him.
Chief.
Chief, our chief Face the Nation correspondent. Chief. Did Romney win this, or did Santorum lose it?
You know, that is a very, very difficult question. I mean, when you think about, was it the fact that Romney was bragging about how many Cadillacs his wife had, and at the same time Rick Santorum is deciding to run against John Kennedy in the speech he made back in 1960. I tell you, Charlie, this is not going to be a chapter in the great profiles of really smart political strategy, I don't think.
This is a divided party.
It is a very divided party. And you know, the numbers really kind of told us that last night when you look at them. About 30% of the people who voted last night told us that the most important thing to them was who can beat Barack Obama. Now, Romney just crushed Santorum. He got about 60-something% of the vote there. But then you go to a little further down, and is to the people who said, what is the most important thing to me? It is good, strong character. In that category, Santorum crushes Romney. So, I mean, this is a party that's still, you know, trying to think about what it really wants here.
So there's no momentum coming out of Michigan, or very little?
Well, I'll tell you this. Romney won, and that means he doesn't have to spend this week talking about why he lost in his home state. He can go on and move on. But now you've got polls showing that Rick Santorum looks very strong out there in Ohio.
Looking,
so that's,
I think, up maybe 11 points in Ohio.
That's going to be the next story, I think.
The big issue, though, especially in Ohio, the economy, jobs. And as we saw when, in Michigan at least, when that was the most important issue for voters, they did tend to go for Romney. Does Rick Santorum have the economic message he needs to hold on to that lead?
Well, we'll find out, because I'm not sure we've really seen that so far. I mean, he keeps saying he's not basing his campaign on social issues, and then he goes out and makes speeches
about social issues.
Yes. So can he broaden that out? I think that's the question, and what we'll all be looking for.
So what does Romney have to do?
I guess just keep hanging in there. I mean, he just keeps on keeping on. He still, is there any place where he's, well, I guess in Nevada, he got 50% of the vote out there.
And he won all the delegates in Arizona.
And he won all the delegates.
So he's getting delegates
in Arizona, but he can't seem to get up to 50% of his own party. In nearly every one of these primaries, more people have voted against Mitt Romney or voted for somebody else than voted for him. So he's still got a selling job to do.
So it's on to Super Tuesday. When you look at Romney, why does he commit all these gaffes? I mean, you've been around politics for a while.
You know, it's very difficult to kind of understand this. I read this book, The Real Romney.
Written by a Boston Globe reporter.
The guys at the Boston Globe. It's really insightful. And what you come away understanding is that this is a man who is truly a man of faith. His faith is Mormonism. He was a missionary. He has been a leader in his church. He's given tremendous amounts of money to the church, but he's reluctant to talk about that because people, you know, his consultants tell him don't do that. People will think Mormonism is a cult. He was a pretty good governor of Massachusetts. He didn't raise taxes. People seem to like him. He doesn't want to talk about that because then people accuse him of being a moderate. He was a good, you know, he was a very successful businessman. But if he talks about that, people say, oh, but you only paid 15% in income taxes. So there's about 3/4 of him that he can't seem comfortable talking about. And I think that's part of it.
It reminds me of someone said, let Reagan be Reagan, and someone said, which Reagan?
Yeah, but there was a Reagan.
There was a Reagan, exactly.
There was a Reagan there, and Republicans are not convinced yet. This is a big part of this party, that he really is a conservative, and that seems to be where his selling job has to be.
Great to have you back.
Chief,
Glad to be here. Proud to be here.
Thanks, Chief.